Good afternoon and welcome to Q Questions, where each week we pull back the curtain on OnCue, one of the most powerful trial presentation platforms in the legal world. I'm Gene, your host, and joining me every week is Robb. He's OnCue's Director of User Development and all-around OnCue guru, if you will. We do this every Wednesday at noon right here on YouTube, so make us a part of your weekly routine. We would love to see you here each and every week. Robb, we got a fun show ahead of us today, man. How are you doing?
Doing well, Gene. How are you?
I'm very well. Better than I deserve, I'm sure.
I want to cover last week. I don't remember who it was in the comments. Somebody put 3D printer ? Because we had the show there at Poopmans, and I was actually out of the studio, which I am again today. And we were doing that. And my 3D printer was going in the background. So yes, the answer was yes, the 3D printer. No, it's not mine. It does belong to my wife. She is the 3D printing person. I just occasionally get a chance to do some stuff with cool technology, and I am amazed. I can sit and just watch that thing. Like, I can just sit and watch what it does, because it's just amazing to me. I had a great show last week. Thanking Eric. I thanked Eric several times for coming on. He did such a wonderful job of coming on. And the thing about him, man, he's just so genuine. Yes. 100% genuine all the time. That's just the way he is. But this prompted a couple of things, Gene, that show did. I have been talking with OnCue has never been known for we don't do advertisement. It's not what we do. We don't have swag, so to speak. I mean, we have our hats and shirts and things that you can get when you take the advanced test and you go through the advanced training, but we just don't have things that we hand out. We don't have tchotchkes. I mean, I've made a few USB drives and mouse pads and things like that I've given away. But we don't sponsor things. We don't have booths at places. And I got that email from Tim Falk. And Tim said, hey, man, listen, we're new. We're getting off the ground. And there have always been, Gene, two certifying – you like the way I did that? Yeah. Certifying bodies in the legal video world. The NCRA, which is the National Court Reporters Association, had their CLVS group, Certified Legal Video Specialist. I was one of those. And then this guy, I think his name was Gail Marquette, back in the day, had a thing called the American Guild of Court Videographers out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the guild was kind of a stepchild. It was just kind of this pygmy thing that they had going on over there that was just kind of a hodgepodge. But then the NCRA CLVS was pretty organized. Well, why am I having legal video stuff on Q Questions? Because, and I'm going to get to sponsorship in a minute, because legal video is there's all the videographers, a lot of them are using OnCue. Whether they're using it in the courtroom or they're using it in depositions, using it for picture-in-picture or whatever it is that they do. It's genuinely an OnCue thing. So Tim reached out and said they were starting something that was going to be it was advanced legal video. And it's legalvideo.org. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Tim was looking for people to sponsor the show and be involved. And they're at the grassroots level. And, it didn't take us long. We talked about it. And I said, guys, I think this is a good thing. We're putting our hat in the ring. We're going to sponsor them. They had already asked us to be on the show as a panel member or just be there to represent our brand before they ever asked about sponsorship. So it wasn't like, oh, well, you sponsor it, we'll put you on the panel. It wasn't that. I mean, we were already on the panel. And so we decided to do it. Well, then I got to thinking about it, and I thought, I can tell all I want about this group, but I want to put some pub out for this organization, because I think there's a host of trial techs who are also videographers. And there are a lot of videographers that are not trial techs, but they still sync. They still make clips. they still put documents up in a deposition. What mechanism by which are they going to do that? You think it's going to be Adobe or PowerPoint? Probably not.
No.
So I wanted to bring Tim Falk on. I like having guests that can contribute and have something to add. And I don't necessarily want to talk as much about the conference as I want to talk about the ALV stuff, what Advanced Legal Video is doing. So I know we've got him here. Let's bring Tim on and do some talking. Tim, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me, Rob.
Absolutely. Hey, man, I got a question. You have been in the industry for quite a while. You've been around legal video and done legal video for quite a while. You probably know the headaches and things that came along with the AGCV and the CLVS group. Why would you want to take something like this on?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that question. We're not trying to certify legal videographers, so let me just say that up front.
Okay.
There are already two places, like you said, to go if you want to get certified. There doesn't need to be a third place that you can go to get certified.
Right.
But the reality is, for legal videographers, there really isn't anything other than certification. You mentioned the NCRA. That's an association for court reporters. It's not an association for legal videographers, right? They just had their conference a month or so ago. They put a vote whether legal videographers can be official members. The answer was no. We don't have a place that's just for legal videography for us to say we want to take the steering wheel and direct how this industry is going to move forward. Because a lot of things have happened over the course of our industry and nothing has changed on the legal video side. For example, you mentioned OnCue being used for depositions, right? For a lot of times for remote depositions over Zoom. It's a great tool for us to use to show the exhibits and to record the exhibits. There's no direction. We're now 7 years, 6 or 7 years after COVID. There hasn't been any direction from any body saying, here's the proper way to record a remote deposition.
There's nothing to find out there. There's no resources that are available. There's no continued education.
Exactly. There's no standards, right? So those of anyone who's on the call right now who is a legal videographer, they know very well that recording a remote deposition is very different from recording an in-person deposition. When you're in person, you got a camera, mixers, microphones, all that kind of stuff. You have none of that on a remote deposition. It's a completely different animal. So there's things like that we're saying, we got to standardize this, because I'm guessing the trial techs that use these videos that we're recording and playing them in trial have a lot of probably complaints about, have you seen this video that was shot by a legal videographer? Look how terrible it is, or look what they did. And that's because the standards aren't there.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. You've got some things that, first of all, you are a membership based organization, legalvideo.org. Great. I like that you're able to get a .org, which means you're a teaching entity. You can sign up to become an ALV member. And before we talk about membership or even joining, let's talk about what you stand for. Okay. And one of those things you said was you wanted to raise the standard and advocate for consistent quality, ethics, and professionalism. Do you feel like the ethics, quality, and professionalism are not there like they used to be? Or do you feel like we need to step up our game here?
Yeah, probably the answer is yes to both of those questions. When you get certified as a legal videographer, you get certified and then you're certified.
Right.
Then that's it. And so you could have been certified 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
You don't have to start talking about my age and stuff. It was 5 years ago I was certified. Thank you.
Yeah, and so and then if you have nothing after that and you just keep paying your dues every year to keep that certification, it means very little. Back 20 or 30 years ago, there was mini DV tapes, if we remember that. And before, that's when I started. When I started in this, it was mini DV tapes. Is what we were recording.
I was shooting VHS.
There you go. So we just confessed our ages there. But but things have changed. We went to DVDs, and then from that to thumb drives, and now from thumb drives to online delivery. I mean, there's so much that has changed. And the reality is, if you're certified 30 years ago and you just kept paying your dues, you may not be changing with the times. So absolutely, there is a lot of legal videographers out there who are siloed. They're not connecting with other videographers, and they're just doing things the same way they've always done it.
Well, I don't know that that's an industry problem, is it? I think that's more of just a people problem. I think
It
that's
is.
there were a lot of videographers in my day, me being one of them, that I was very arrogant, and I did not. It was a competitive business, and so although I like to share, it's a pretty why am I going to teach you something that I'm using as a competitive advantage or whatever the case may be? And I think it's very short-sighted. I know for me it was. I burned a lot of bridges and made a lot of enemies quickly like that. Luckily, those people are now, I think, friends with me. But we're talking about share what works. You said share what works. Publish best practices, workflows, and real-world strategies. So you're saying, hey, let's have a place where we can go get some education?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to legal videography, there are no requirements to be certified. So what you have is a bunch of people who just say, I'll just buy a camera and go to show up at the deposition and I'll record. So I'll become a legal videographer. Well, that reflects badly on the industry. It's like, the attorney is paying a decent amount of money here to get a high quality video and expect somebody who knows how to shoot the video and also understands deposition protocol, right? But since its certification isn't a requirement, anyone can just jump in there and just go for it. So what we're stepping in here, so we can't let that happen.
It's the same thing with a hot seater.
Yeah.
Hot seaters don't have certification. This is such an important job. It absolutely should have a certification. We have a certifying process that says, OnCue to an advanced level that you could darn near be in our support department and work in our support department. But that doesn't mean you're a good hot seater.
Exactly.
There's so much more to the game than just, pushing the buttons in the courtroom. A monkey with enough bananas can do that.
Absolutely. That, I think they're very what you're saying is very similar. You hear, like, even for example, videographers saying, I'll just learn OnCue and then I'll become a hot seater. That's not, you need to learn OnCue, but you also need to know what all is entailed in being a hot seater. It's more than just that. And so, and I've seen some, I've seen on LinkedIn, people talking about that. People think they can just become a hot seater just by, picking up OnCue and just go in there. No, there's a lot more to it than that. And I think the same thing is true for legal videography. You don't just learn how to use a camera. There's a lot more to that.
Absolutely not. 100% not. That's I thought so. I was shit, man. I was fresh out of undergrad, getting ready for law school. I was fresh out. I didn't know what a court reporter was. And I went into the place and I started doing their IT work. And I saw this big camera sitting in this conference room and it had this cool mixer with it. And I've always thought, man, that was cool. That thing looked like a television camera. And that's how I got my start, man. But you know what? I didn't shoot my first deposition on my own in 1998. I think I went on probably 20, 30 hours of depositions with someone training me, with me having earphones on as well, learning to ride those pots on the old Shure M1 M mixer or whatever that had the
367 or something like that. Yeah,
that's it. Yep. 367, and you're riding those pots and listening for that audio and those crinkling of paper and the I understand what you're saying. You also said champion field legitimacy. I love the way that's worded. Champion field legitimacy. We advocate for legal videography as a respected, specialized craft, not just a technical task, by modeling professionalism and demanding high standards. I like that. Is that kind of your mission statement?
Yes. And it's going to take some time to get there because, like we said, we've got videographers who nothing like this has existed before, right? So we got to kind of help people see the value in this. And I think people are catching on. I'll just say I'm amazed. We have almost 100 members who have joined Advancing Legal Video, and about half of those joined before we even launched anything. We just said, we want to launch this. Will you help us launch it? And almost 50 videographers said, yeah, we'll sign on. We'll open up our book.
map on your website, and I know a lot of these cats. Just over the years, I know a lot of these guys. My good friend Joe Cook down in Corpus Christi. I've known Joe for years, and I see a lot of my friends on there that are members. You've got board members that are all very close friends of mine. And so I think you're doing a good thing. Now, here's the part that I really like is you said serve the public good, which was meaning donate time, equipment, or skill to justice-aligned nonprofit works. Is that something that you are going to require a member to do, or are you saying, hey, you know what, as part of being in this organization, we want advancing legal video, we want ALV to be looked upon as an organization that not only talks the talk, but walks the walk? Is that what you're trying to go with there?
Well, we're not requiring anything of anybody, first of all. So we're not going to control anybody for sure. But I'll just say this: everybody who's on the board at ALV, this is a unique organization. It's a board of legal videographers. This is a association for legal videographers by legal videographers. So we're taking on ourselves to do this. We're all volunteering our time. No one's getting paid here. The entire organization is run by volunteers. There's 8 of us board members. This isn't one person. It's not me doing this. The reason why ALV exists is because there are legal videographers saying we want to set the direction for this industry. We want to take this for ourselves and do what we think is best for legal videographers, not what's best for court reporters or anyone else. We want to work alongside them and support them. But we need an organization that is for legal videography specifically. That's what we believe. And we believe legal videographers should be the ones who are doing that. So we're all doing this volunteer. And we encourage every member. This is not about, it is here to help and benefit you, but you're part of this organization to help others and to support this industry as a whole. And hopefully I think that message is being caught and spread.
The support at OnCue was all volunteers. It was volunteers that did support for OnCue. And so we understand that part of, you have to volunteer and you have to give up and there's nothing more fulfilling, right, than to do some kind of a selfless act. I try to do some pro bono work every year, whatever that pro bono work is. It could be some graphics, it could be putting together some exhibits for trial, it could be, bait stand, who knows? It could be anything. But I try to do that because it's an industry that has made a great living for my family and I. Let me ask you, to become a member of the ALV, how much is a membership?
So a standard membership is $229 a year. But as we're launching, we have a discounted membership for $149 for the year. And that is actually ending. It's actually great that we're here today because it's ending. That introductory price is ending this Saturday. That's what it's been up till now. But after August 15th, that's going up to $229, and that's what it'll be year after year.
Now, is it a fiscal year? Is it a calendar year? Is it a date you sign up to your 1 year 365? What is it?
It is whatever day you sign up. It's 365 days from that point of sign up.
All right. $229 per year. That's a billable hour for me. And if I bill 1 hour and I pay you my $229 a year, I'm there for the year. I don't have to pay every month and I don't have to worry about it. What do I have access to at that point, Tim?
That's the exciting stuff, is that now we're talking about the stuff that hasn't really ever been there for us. When you become a member, you mentioned a map. There is a map. Actually, I'm going to get to the map at the end because it's morphing into something pretty cool. I want to talk about that. But you get a private forum, right? There's where you can actually ask your questions. It's not publicly online for everyone to see. Only the members can see it, and that's where you could share some of your secrets or learn from others where they feel comfortable doing that without it being wide open. There's a community central where we have videographers posting articles and talking about things that you have access to. Some other things are, well, let me just talk about the map really quick because it's really cool. You can place where you are on the map. You can share what services you offer. But coming soon, like within a year, another program that we're launching called Endorsements is going to be in conjunction with the map. And what this is going to do is legal videographers can become endorsed for a specific service, whether that's a remote deposition or an in-person or a picture-in-picture, whatever it is, you get endorsed for specific services. And then as you get endorsed, when people are searching on the map to find a legal videographer, they can filter by those endorsements. So if they're looking for a videographer to do a remote deposition, they'll filter by endorsements for remote depositions, and then on the map, it's only those who have been endorsed for that specific service. And that tells the provider, these guys know what they're talking about. They know what to do when they do a remote deposition.
Remember, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. Feel free to put them in. He'll answer those questions live, or we'll get those questions over to him, because I still have a couple more and I may not cover what you wanted to ask. So feel free to put that in there, and Gene will definitely get those out. All right, so let's talk about the thing that brought us all together, and that is the conference that you are having, the ALV conference. This will be, I'm guessing, the first one. This is the Shape the Future. It's called the Advancing Conference, brought to you by Advancing Legal Video. This is going to be October 2nd through the 4th, 2026. And tell us a little more about what this is and what's going on and how this thing works, because it looks like you're going to be in Lake Forrest, California. That's going to be out of Irvine. You have got a lot of stuff going on this thing. Tell me a little more about what's going on with this conference, man.
Sure. Well, I've got a question for you, Rob. Have you ever heard of a conference for legal videographers? I was trying to think about it. Has there ever been a conference for just for legal videographers?
Okay, I'm going to go.
There may have been.
I'm going to go way back. Way back right now. And if anybody that's watching this remembers this, put it in the comments. You're going to have to go back to 02 or 03. We had a thing in Jonesboro, Arkansas that was called the Amazing Free Offer. And what it was is, as long as you got to Jonesboro, Arkansas, then you could come to the conference for free. And so if you could come to the conference for free and you could get there, and we had it, and there were about 25 people, the answer to your question is I don't think so. I don't think there's ever been anything just for legal videographers.
Yeah, that's saying something. And so this is just for legal videographers. We've made the registration costs as affordable as we can, and this is not stuff like, if you're new to legal videography, how to build your first demo kit. This is for legal videographers, whether you've been starting just recently or you've been a legal videographer for 20 or 30 years. I'm going to be learning things at this conference. That's what we've made this conference to be, so that whether you're a veteran or you're just starting out, this is going to be helpful for you. And I'm sure you've looked at the seminars and what they're covering. This is really meant to help us get to where we need to be to stay at the forefront of technology, where things are going, and to also be the very best that we can be at legal videography. And on top of that, it's not just about the seminars. It is about connecting, right? Networking with other people. And that's where you learn so much just by getting in another room with other people in your industry, and those conversations after during the evenings are just as valuable as what's going on during the day.
Well, and I think too that, I don't think I ever went to a CLVS or an NCRA show. Even somebody you have on your panel, Ezram, he and I have had many a shenanigan, and I don't think that I ever went to any of the tracks. I think I was out in the hallway, I'm pressing palm in the hallway. I'm having lunches. It's like, you've got this deal. I'd be the guy that's like, Tim, let's go have dinner. Let's talk. That was always my thing. It was a networking thing. We do have a question on the board here. Gene, go.
Yes. Anti3250 asks, are there any sponsorship opportunities for your conference?
I can answer that. I'm paying money. We're not even listed on the website yet, but we're definitely sponsoring. Go ahead, Tim. Tell them about the sponsorship opportunity.
Absolutely. You can go to conference.legalvideo.org, and there that's our conference webpage. And there on the conference webpage, there is a menu item for sponsorships, and you can see the different tiers that are out there.
Never mind, I found it on the website.
There you go.
All right, well, look, dude, here's my thing. So we're coming out there. I know you're doing the thing that we're most interested in, of course, is the ProSync portion of OnCue. Not going to get into that right now and where we're going. People can look at the website and kind of see what the track is. I was so stoked to go and was going to go, but unfortunately I can't make it. I have a conflict that weekend. And so my partner, Max Bow, he is the head of all the fundamental training and teaching people, how to build the foundation in OnCue and put your walls up and get your roof and all that. He's the guy that's so good at that. And Max is just such a good dude. And I thought, you know what, Max, why don't you go out there? And I'd love to see everybody and love to see some old friends, especially Ezram. I was looking so forward to seeing Ezram and his wife, Shinomi. I was hoping to see them, but I have something to do. But I'm sure this is going to be a good conference. And we're sponsoring on it because I think you're doing a good thing. I think you're doing a great service for the legal community. Once you've shot deposition video, I think you get it in your blood. It becomes part of you and you understand the struggles. So I've been there, done that. And it's kind of near and dear to my heart. And OnCue certainly looks at it as, hey, this is a good opportunity for us to be able to say, hey, we're not endorsing, but we're definitely supporting this cause and what you guys are doing. If there's anything else you want the people to know, we've got people who watch live right now, obviously from when we get questions, but a lot of people go back and watch this after the workday because they're in trial or whatever, and they just can't come on live. And so we try to cover all the bases. Is there anything else that you want to get out there, talk about that you want people to know? I think this is a great thing, Tim.
Just a couple of things. I appreciate that, Rob. We have a monthly huddle over Zoom every month where we go over a specific topic to legal videography. We all get together. It's free. You don't have to be a member of ALV to join those huddles. How
does someone find out more about those huddles?
I'll tell you what, if you go to actually, you know what? The way they find out is we tell them about it.
Right there. How do you get there? Does somebody maybe just send an email to you?
There is an email. We have an email list. You can email me at tim@legalvideo.org. I'll put you on the email list, and you'll get to hear about everything that's going on at ALV. If there's something, maybe some people here are watching and they're not a legal videographer. Maybe they're a trial tech. I would love to hear from you as well. Email me, tim@legalvideo.org, and tell me all the problems you see with legal video when you're playing back videos at trial. Tell me what they are. I want to hear what's the most common recurring issues that you would love to see change when it comes to how we shoot depositions for you in trial. And then we can address it. We can address it as an organization. Hey, guys, here's the process. This is what's happening most often. The audio is terrible, or the framing is awful, or whatever. And then we know, hey, this is something we really need to work on as legal videographers, as an industry.
That would be fabulous.
Yeah.
You got to bridge that gap at some point.
Absolutely.
At some point, you need to bridge the gap. So, well, Tim, thank you so much for coming on today. We appreciate it. I appreciate you and Gene hooking up and getting that done and you coming on. And I certainly look forward to meeting you in person at some point. I know you're going to have more conferences than just this one. And so I'm definitely looking forward to being at something. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So that's Tim Falk. I'll tell you what, Gene, look, man, I was around when the CLVS group kind of got started, and they were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And, a lot of these organizations start up and then fall by the wayside because they're hard to maintain and they're hard to keep going. But I think Tim and some of his board members, I know these people personally, and I think between them, they've got the tenacity to really make this thing go. And I think, a lot of times, a lot of these things are just, same song, second verse, same as the first, it's just, you know what I mean? Yeah. Everybody's gung-ho at the beginning, and then you get into it and you realize how much work you've got to put in for free and you realize maybe I don't want to do that. Right. And so, but I don't think it's that way with Tim. I really don't. You know, I've seen Tim a long time around the industry through the OnCue side. You understand what I'm saying? I know everybody through the OnCue side. And, you know, you just know when people are really doing it the right way. And I think Tim's going about it the right way. Look, man, $250 or whatever it is to become a member for the year, bro, for an organization like this to get education and have access to some of these things. Bro, come on. It's $250, man. You can't even step into the NCRA, CLVS. That ends up costing you like $2 or $3 grand by the time you're certified out of your pocket, brother.
Yeah.
And by the time you get certified, you realize after being in the business and having that certification for 10 or 12 years, there was not one dime that you made in your pocket based on having that certification. Not one dime. So it was like Amway. It was a multi-level, it was a scam. It was a scam. It didn't help you at all. And there was nobody. Why am I not going to hire my brother Bo to do the video? And he works, you know, he owns a landscaping company. He knows how to shoot video though. I mean, you see what I mean? Why do I want to pay this guy $200 when I can pay this guy $25?
Yeah, I mean, clearly this isn't a venture that they're looking to make money on, because they could charge a lot more exorbitant price if they wanted to.
That is my point. Their price is pittance. Their price is a pittance for what you get. So I know that for a fact. I mean, I'm not speaking out of school to you. I'm just telling you, I know that for a fact. Been around the industry a long time. And you know, and Tumbleweed just said, and pay continuing education credits too. Right.
Yeah.
Jason Bollinger, Tim is a good guy. I worked a trial with him earlier this year. He was a hot seater for the opposing side. There you go. This business, and Tim put it best when he said, Gene, now listen to me, Gene. He put it best when he said, is it about the tracks? And by the tracks, I mean the different blocks of education. Is it about that? Is it really about what you're going there to learn? Let's think about this. Is it really about that, Gene?
Right.
It's about the networking.
Yeah.
It's about the people you're going to meet. It's about the fact that I just met Tom, and Tom and I became fast friends, and we spent a whole weekend running together. And now Tom's got a lot of business and I got a lot of business, and all of a sudden we're sending business back and forth. And all of a sudden, you see what I mean?
Yep.
And had I not spent my measly $250, because
I think it's just $229, I believe. I think.
Call it $250.
Maybe overshooting. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is $250, but I think it's $229. Either way,
I'm just putting it at a round hourly rate.
Yeah,
that's what I've, you know. So think about that though, right? If you get that, if you invest the $250, it could make you $500 just through a relationship. Sure, you got your flight, well, that's all tax write-off. So whatever. You know, I think they're onto a good thing. I'm not endorsing, but I'm supporting. And OnCue will do all it can do to help these guys. And I don't want to see crap video out there coming across my desk. I don't want our users having to deal with crap video that they get, that they say, oh, well, my video this, so it must be an OnCue problem. And now all of a sudden our support is getting bombarded with an email because this videographer doesn't know whether to, you know, wind his watch or scratch his arm, you know.
Something like that. Yeah. Man, I liked everything I heard today. I mean, Tim, they are doing some good things, and this conference is going to be a really great opportunity. It's going to create some opportunities for some people.
I just found out yesterday that I couldn't go. And
I know. And I know how bummed out you were too.
I get a call and it's like, hey man, are you playing golf before the wedding? And I'm like, yeah, what date is that? It's like October 6th. What? The wedding is October 3rd. Like, and I'm getting a chance to play with this pro golfer on 2 really exclusive courses in Florida. This has been set up for a while. And it's like, dude, and plus, well, I mean, one dear friend is getting married on October 3rd. We're not missing that wedding for her. There's no way. And so I didn't want that kind of heat, you know?
Yeah.
And so I thought Max was going to go out there. And I'll tell you right now, anybody going to this conference, if you go hit up Max. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to spill the beans. I told Max yesterday to give everybody that registers for this conference 20 sync credits for OnCue. So they'll get 20 sync credits just to go sync 20 hours worth of deposition and see what you think. See if you like it, whatever. I told Max is coming with some swag. I said we didn't do swag, but we're going to do swag for this conference. So Max is going to be coming with all of it. And you won't have any trouble finding Max. He's always around.
He won't be like Waldo. You won't have to go searching for him. You'll see
right.
Max. He'll have his OnCue repping the company, and he'll be looking sharp. I'm excited that Max is going to go carry the ball for OnCue there. It's a good opportunity.
So I've also got to tell you, man, that I got a chance to use ProSync on an M5 Mac in the native Mac version of OnCue to test it. And oh my goodness, but that's coming. But hey, man, that's it for me. Listen, we had the quarterly last week. We had our people in there. We had a great time on the quarterly. That was normally the shot for the quarter. But this time, as I said, we're doing 2 quarterly trainings to coordinate with back to school and things like that. And I'm going to be honest with you, the numbers have shown when the kids go back to school. So, you kind of know when summer's starting to come to an end. The next one, Thursday, August 27th, 2026, from 11 to 3. We still have sign-up room. Where can they sign up? OnCueTech.com. Go to training on our website, and that'll get you right up there in the right corner. You'll see where you can sign up. Now, I got some big news coming. Gene, I have decided that we're going to take anybody who does training with OnCue or knows about our training. As we upgrade versions of OnCue, newer training is needed, right?
Right.
And so I think we're working on creating a training portal. So once you enter the portal, you're in the portal, and then you know where you can go. Right. And we're not only going to have it in the portal as getting training, but also where we're going to have, you just need to know 1 or 2 little things. You just go over, click that. It'll give you the video of here's how you do that, right? It's going to be really interactive, and it shows people where they are in the process of getting to the advanced user level, what they need to do. It'll handle all the testing. It'll handle everything. And so we are really getting excited about that. That's something that Christian, myself, and Max, and you, Gene, are always involved because you're behind the scenes, Gene, are putting together right now that we're getting into. We're going to have a portal for that training. But don't sleep on these quarterlies. They're pretty fun. We have a good time in them. You were at the quarterly, I think, Gene. You'll be at the next one.
100%.
Sometimes Max and I both do those. It just depends. But Max is busy. He was doing a training same time we were doing a quarterly. But we did 2 of them for you this time. And so we'll see what we can do. We have gone super long on this, but I felt like this episode was going to be good and really catered to a lot of people that watch this show. And so I wanted to get Tim on here, and I didn't want Tim cut off for any reason. So Gene, if you don't have anything else for us, take us home.
I think we're set. I believe we've talked about Max a lot in this episode. I believe we are going to have him here as a guest on an upcoming episode of Q Questions. So watch out for that. But again, thank you everyone for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you right here every Wednesday live for a new episode of Q Questions.